Welcome to Caring Community with your hosts, Jay and Diane West. In this community, creative initiatives are welcomed. A culture of transformation is normal, and miracles are expected. Welcome to Caring Community.
Hello, I'm Jay.
And I'm Diane.
And this is Caring Community. Welcome to our show today, where our guest is our own son, Jason West.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me on the show today.
Yeah, boy, you sounded kind of Texan there. Were you born anywhere in the South?
I was born in Houston, Texas, lived in Houston for a little bit, lived in Dallas for a little while as well.
What was the name of the hospital you were born in?
West Houston.
Yeah, it had the name West in it, West Houston, so that's our last name.
Had to have the West name in it, absolutely. There's always a little bit of Texas still in me.
Always a little bit of Texas in him, so it's great to have you here. You know, we know so much about you, we don't even know what to ask. So maybe you should ask us a question. No,
what should I ask you? Yes.
Yes. So one of the things that you're involved in several things. You're an author. You are a teacher, you are a musician, you've done some recordings. Share with our audience why you gravitate towards music or writing or both of them, or.
Sure, yeah. Both of them have been things that I've been interested in for a long time. I'll start with music. I've been interested in music and specifically worship ministry from a real young age. When I was really little, I mean, growing up in your family and growing up in the church, I think had a big influence on that. And so we would have a lot of church services, worship events, and with you pastoring and with just leading into that, it just from even a young age, I always had that desire to be involved in that. And to be involved in worship ministry. So I loved listening to worship music, loved the worship time at church. So even from a young age, there was just the desire in me to be a worship leader someday. And I didn't know quite how that would happen. For quite a while through my childhood, I didn't play an instrument at all. So I didn't feel like I had much musical knowledge, so I wasn't sure how that was going to all come together. But God began to put the pieces together with that, piece by piece, and just began opening some doors for worship ministry. And step by step, He's allowed me to be in the place where I'm at today and being able to lead worship on a regular basis. And it is truly a joy and an honor to do so. You
know, as I recall, around middle school, I started teaching you piano by notes, which is how I play.
Right.
And we did about 2 years of that, and I would occasionally say, well, just add a little rhythm or do some syncopation or whatever. And you were really creative in those days. And then Diane and I one day bought a keyboard at a place here in town and brought it home, and you just started playing by ear. And I was like, how did that happen? So,
yep, that's true. I began, even before we had the keyboard, I began to just play around and learn a few things on my own and began to explore a little bit more. And then with the keyboard, then that helped even more when I was playing the keyboard instead of the upright piano. But that was one of those stepping stones that then, as I think I was probably in 8th grade at that time, and that helped to launch me into some worship ministry when I was in high school. Where then, when I was in 9th grade, I continued mainly just learning in 9th grade, but then just exploring, just learning to play by ear more, writing some more music, and then by 10th grade I joined the school's worship team, and I also started helping you with your ministry around that same time.
I tried to play by ear once, but I kept hitting my head on the piano and getting headaches.
There's a specific technique, and
because I tried to work it this way and it just didn't happen. You have a God-given blessing that I don't have at all. So
it is a blessing.
And you also had some high school teachers that were kind of mentoring you.
I did, yes. So a couple of teachers really helped me learn how, as well, learn how to chord, and learn how to just be freestyle with a chord chart, and just kind of to be free-flowing with music and just flow from one song to the next. And that really helped too, for sure. But Yeah, I remember joining the team at school at the time, thinking I was going to just either play some kind of backup keys or some kind of backup vocals, and they put me on lead keys right away, and I didn't think I was ready for that.
Yeah.
So I just kind of got launched into that right away. But that's how you learn too, though, just by
Yeah.
jumping in and doing it. So
Yeah.
I'm very grateful.
And honestly, way back, I think you were like in kindergarten or first grade, you wrote your first song.
Yeah.
And I don't
Yeah.
even remember, how it goes, and I'm not going to embarrass you and ask you to sing it. And somebody else helped you put some music to it, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
that was kind of an indication to us.
Right.
Even back early on, prior to that, we would go to the track and run, and you were running in those days too. As
You
a
took off.
3, 4, 5-year-old, you were running, and then you became a track runner later on too. So a lot of things are developed early on in your life. So.
Yeah, definitely. I think you can have a real sense, even from an early age, some of those desires and some of those passions that the Lord gives you. I know that was true for me.
And and then you ended up hold up your album for the people to see. And what's the title of it?
It's called Running Free.
Running.
So it kind of ties in both of those aspects together that you were just talking about.
Right. These are all original songs except for one. I think you took a hymn and put it
Yes.
to a little syncopated beat and whatever. If somebody wanted to order that album, how would they contact you? Would it be your email maybe?
Yeah, that's the easiest way. Just runningfree@cox.net is the email, so easy to remember. So you can just send me notes. And
All right.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, get a little glare, so hold it down there. We don't want to blind the audience.
Absolutely.
So in a little while, you're going to sing a song from that album as well. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
So tell us about that particular song.
Well, with it being the Christmas season right now, I'm going to sing a Christmas song that I wrote. It's called Arise, O King. And I wrote it quite a few years ago. This album came out a number of years ago, actually, too. The album came out in 2012. And I think I actually wrote the song even sooner than that, maybe closer to 2010. Just a song celebrating our Savior's birth, basically, and celebrating the fact that He is Emmanuel, and just that He is God with us. And as you listen to a lot of the lyrics, it's just really a celebration song of all that He has done for us, but all around the Christmas theme. So yeah, I'll be excited to
Is your
sing and
music
play
still
that for
available
you.
on Spotify?
It's not on there.
Okay.
It's pretty much just for online venues. It's on cdbaby.com.
Okay.
That's what it's called, and you can find it on there.
cdbaby.com.
Yeah.
All right. cdbaby.com. cdbaby.com. It sounds like I could do a rap dance to that or something.
Yes.
So, and I don't even know. There's no such thing as a rap dance. I realize that, but okay. But there's rap and there's dance. All right. This is getting too weird. All right. But this is our family, okay? And we couldn't get anybody else to
Just
come do
real-
an interview, so we
just
got our
real-
son,
just
for
real
the
life
holidays.
right here.
Right.
Yeah.
So
But the title, I'll go back to the title. The title's called Running Free because, not just because I did a lot of running and ran track in school, but it's talking more about just the freedom that our Lord gives us, and that He takes off our shackles and our chains, things that have held us in bondage, things that have weighed us down. He gives us so much freedom, so that there's a passage in Galatians that talks about running well for the Lord, but also what hindered you from obeying the truth. So we don't want any hindrances to that.
Right.
We want to be known as people who have run well for Him.
yeah, that's Galatians 5:7. What you used to run well, what hinders you from obeying the truth? And you talk about taking the shackles off. One of our previous guests, I think it was episode number 3, Michael Sacco was here talking about how he was addicted to all sorts of drugs, heroin, meth, and other things, and he's been free now for 10 years, and it was God's help that enabled him. So if you're listening, you say, man, I'd like to get free from drugs, go back and listen to episode 3.
Yeah.
That's really a
For sure.
good share time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what else do you want to talk about that are meaningful to you? You want to talk about your ministry to middle schoolers?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. The Lord has blessed me with a real gift for the past going on 5 years now of being able to be a middle school Bible teacher, and I just have so many wonderful opportunities that come with that job.
Where do you teach at?
I teach at Lifegate Christian School in town.
Okay, it's here in Omaha.
Yeah.
Okay, formerly known as Trinity School, in
Yes.
case you have a rich heritage there. So
Yeah, yeah. Amazing place to teach, amazing families, amazing students there. But I just love being able to pour into them the Word of God. I have 6th grade and 7th grade classes, but I tell people all the time it's way more than a teaching job. It's a way to mentor, it's a way to disciple, it's a way to lead and to inspire into the next generation. And I'm very passionate about it. I'm grateful for every opportunity with those students to do that.
Where did you get your degree at?
I studied at Grace University. I went through the teacher education program as well as the biblical studies program. Received a double major there. Yeah.
Do you want to share how that came about, going to college there versus, you remember part of that story?
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. When I was looking at colleges, first of all, to backtrack, I had taken a year off from school, from traditional school, I guess, anyway, and I had spent that year doing an internship both with your ministry and as well as with youth ministry at our church at the time, which was Eagle's Nest.
That's right.
And so I did a lot of volunteer work in both of those venues. So your ministry involved a lot of traveling, a lot of worship leading, going to different locations around the country, but that would often be on weekends, and we'd be home in the middle of the week when I could do youth ministry at church. Anyways, with that, during that year, this is after my senior year of high school, obviously, and during that year I was also looking for colleges and where I would be attending next. In the process of searching, I was contacted by a school that I didn't even look for, and they were Southwestern Assemblies of God University in Waxahachie, Texas. They had sent me some information, and I found the information very intriguing, so I decided to apply there. They had a lot of ministry options, including worship ministry. It looked very interesting to me. Actually even went down there for a visit.
Right. Yeah, we went together, went down and checked it out. Yeah.
Got to experience it. It was a great experience. The Lord's really moving there and still is. So they, as I went through the application process, also applied for scholarships. And they ended up offering me their full tuition scholarship to attend there.
Right.
But then this is, it was still, just because you receive a scholarship doesn't mean you should automatically just make that decision, because one thing I stand by that I've learned from you too is just, I never make a decision just based on money. Money's a factor for sure, but there's a lot of other factors, and what is God saying and what is He leading in this? And so we were just still wanting to be open to other possibilities, and just to make sure, Lord, where are you wanting me to be?
Right.
So that's where you had an idea that came into play.
Right.
I don't know if you want to share that, or if you want me to.
Well, the idea simply was, I approached one of the admissions counselors and said, do you ever match scholarships?
This is at Grace.
At Grace, yes, at Grace. I went to Grace University because he had taken a couple courses there, 1 or 2.
Right,
Yes.
that's right.
While you were in high school, I believe.
Yeah, 3 actually.
3,
Yep, when
okay, I
was in
didn't
high
realize
school.
it was 3. So, and so I thought I would just go there and ask. I had no clue what their answer was going to be. Actually, I assumed it was going to be no, because I never even heard of that,
Right.
And she actually said, well, we haven't in the past, but we are this year, but it has to line up perfectly with their parameters and their guidelines and everything else. And lo and behold, it did.
It
It did.
Yeah.
It did. So they matched that full tuition scholarship dollar for dollar. So essentially what it would cost me to attend the college in Texas was what it ended up costing me to attend college at Grace as well. So now I had a decision to make.
Yeah.
And those are primarily the 2 that I was looking at that point. There were some other schools that I had looked at over time, but had not felt led to pursue any further. So it basically had come down to those 2. And I had a decision to make, and really felt led of the Lord to stay close. And there are several reasons for that, but really love the teacher education program and the biblical studies program that Grace University had to offer, and also
So just
being
to
able
clarify,
to
you
continue
got-
doing ministry at home.
You got
was
2
good.
majors instead of 1 major and a minor that you would have gotten at the other location. So.
Yeah, yeah, and that makes a difference too,
Right.
for sure.
And you got Pell Grants as well, so basically out, the only thing we had to pay for was books and a few fees and stuff each semester.
Yeah, was very, very blessed by the Lord. He was very faithful in that whole time.
A couple of scholarships from North Omaha as well.
Yeah. And I have to add to that as well, is that, I know the Lord honors our faithfulness, and He honors when we have a generous heart. And both speaking for myself as well as speaking for both of you, and this is kind of, when it comes to college costs, that's kind of a thing that can sometimes affect both the student and the parents. And so speaking on behalf of all three of us, we had been giving a lot. We had been trusting God a lot with our finances. We had been tithing, but even going beyond tithing, and just giving to not only the local church, but also to other ministries, and really just felt strongly of the Lord to do that, and that the Lord was going to honor and bless that. And I believe that has a big factor in it as well. Not to say that you do it for that reason by any means, because you just do it to be a blessing. And I would, if I would go back, and if none of those offers were going to be given me, I would still give. I would still tithe. But
and let me just. You're going to sing in a moment, but as you're sharing that, I'm reminded of a verse in the Bible, and I've had my Bible here for every show, but haven't opened it till now. Isaiah 32 verse 8 says, "A generous man devises generous things, and by generosity he shall stand." And this is the Christmas season. And Christmas can be a time of great blessing. It can also be a time of great hoarding. You can make it all about yourself, or you can make it about others. And our philosophy as a family is to bless and encourage others before we bless and encourage ourselves even.
Amen.
Often, and it's not that we're like, trying to pat ourselves on the back and say something special. We're just saying, it's really important, especially at Christmas time, there's a lot of people who just don't have very much. And you have an opportunity to share and bless and encourage others and truly make a difference. And we've patterned that for years, and he has picked up on that. He's one of the most generous people I know on the planet, and he'll give lots and lots of time. He'll give his money to the extreme. He'll be an encourager. He'll spend time on the phone talking to somebody who needs help, whatever. And it's all about that and more.
Absolutely.
And so God puts that in us, and if you want to really have a Merry Christmas, find somebody, even if it's just a neighbor or a friend, somebody who needs some time, somebody to listen to, going through a tough situation, maybe pray with them, maybe buy them a gift card to your favorite coffee place, and take them out, and look for those opportunities this Christmas to bless and encourage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, without any strings attached.
Without any strings attached,
Yeah.
right. Without any strings attached,
Yeah.
expecting anything in return. And I promise you, from God's word, you will get blessed back. You will get blessed back. And if he doesn't bless you back with money, he'll bless you back with what money can't buy. And
True.
that's so important too.
Absolutely.
Inner joy, peace.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Assurance, whatever. So we're going to segue here, and we're going to let you sing this song, Arise, O King.
Yes.
And then we're going to come back and just share with you for a few minutes after that.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, thank you. Enjoy the song.
This song is called Arise, O King. The blessed King has risen, born on Christmas Day, the Lamb of God to save the world and take our sins away. And through all the years he's beckoned us to a holy silent night. So arise, take your throne, O King, tonight. Arise, O King, Emmanuel, the blessed Prince of Israel. Sing Alleluia, sing Noel. Behold your King, Emmanuel. If the shepherds came to see him and the wise men saw his star, then maybe I should know this King who has known me from afar. And through all the Christmas memories that always give me cheer, the best one is the time when he came near. Arise, O King, Emmanuel, the blessed Prince sing Noel. Behold your King, Emmanuel. Arise, O King, Emmanuel, the blessed Prince of Israel. Sing Alleluia, sing Noel. Behold your King, Emmanuel. Behold your King, Emmanuel. Behold your King, Emmanuel.
Wow, Jason, that was really good. Thanks so much. You know, we've been listening to that song for a long time, but hearing it here in the studio was just amazing, fun, and exciting. So thank you very much for
Absolutely.
sharing that.
It's such a
Absolutely, it is
beautiful
fun.
song.
It is a beautiful-
He fell in love with that. You did.
Yes.
You know, the first time we heard that, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was one of those
So-
songs you say, wow, then you say it backwards, wow, you know.
So
and-
we often request you sing this
Yeah.
every year.
Right. Of course, he wrote us a song for Father's Day and for Mother's Day as well,
Yeah.
and songs just about us, and those are special too. Hold up the album again, Running Free, and they can see that. You've written a couple books too. We're going to talk about that in the next show, but maybe you just want to hold those up and highlight them real briefly here in our last few remaining minutes. So hold up the first one we did together,
Yeah.
the Blue
Yeah.
Light. Kingdom Encounters. We kind of wrote this together, and so it's about praying for people in public and ministering to people and offering the kingdom of God and just seeing them have a kingdom encounters. It ended up being what we named our church, but we didn't know that at the time. We didn't even know we were
Right.
going to start a church when we wrote
Right.
the book.
We wrote this several years before that happened.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And it's got palm trees on it. I love palm trees. I grew up in Southern California. I think palm trees are the happiest trees on the planet. You know?
Yeah,
And
I agree.
I'd much rather have a palm tree than the weeping willow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's sad. So anyway, so
Yeah.
thanks for writing that with us, and show them the other book that you wrote, and tell them a little bit
Yeah.
about it.
This one's called Freedom Through Surrender, and it is a series of devotional entries, basically. And I just wrote these devotions over the course of time. That wasn't all written together in one piece, but the Lord began to show me that He desired for these to get out to more people, for them to be able to read them, because it would really be meaningful and inspirational to a lot of people. So it's the topic of freedom through surrender covers a lot of different things, but it all is centered around this topic of living a life that is surrendered to the Lord. And actually, when we give up, then He actually sets us free. And it sounds counterintuitive to what we would think, generally speaking, in life, but in the Lord's kingdom, that's how it works. So this covers a lot of topics. It covers topics of faith, overcoming fear, topics of, how do we become disciples of Christ, just a lot of different things. So yeah.
You know, and as you're talking again, and again, I didn't share any scriptures in any of the previous shows, but this one I felt led on too. Galatians 5:1 says, "Stand fast in the liberty or freedom by which Christ has made us free, and do not be entangled again with the yoke of bondage." You know, freedom through surrender. If you surrender your life to God, like Michael shared in episode 3, he surrendered his life to God and got totally free from meth and heroin and other things. God can do amazing things in our lives, all right?
Yes.
Incredible. I was healed of an incurable disease. We talked about that on the first show. I was healed of skin cancer. They went to cut off my ear, and God supernaturally healed my ear. I mean, the dermatologist was literally going to cut off my entire outer ear, do 5 restoration surgeries. It was going to cost around $500,000, and God just intervened and spared that. I had neck and shoulder pain for 26 years, severe neck and shoulder pain on this side, and supernaturally it disappeared about 9 or 10 years ago. It's never come back. And so we have a lot of testimonies, and as a family, we have a lot of testimonies.
Yeah.
And Jason's birth and part of our family is another testimony, and we may share that in the next show. He's going to be on the next show after this one, and he'll be doing another song then too. And so you can pick that up on the YouTube channel or locally here on KPAO here in Omaha, which we are so thankful for have KPAO do this with us
Yes.
and
for
provide this for us. And for our producer, Mike Wallace, he's an awesome guy. You got to get acquainted with the station. So, well, we hope you all have a Merry Christmas.
Yes.
Put God first. Look for ways to be generous. Look for ways to be courageous. Look for ways to bless others and to encourage others and to make their Christmas just a little bit more special. So, Jason,
That's what caring community is.
put your hand in here, Diane. We have a there
Hey.
we go. Stand, handshake, 3 chords. That cannot be easily broken. All right, thanks a
That's
lot.
right.
God bless you. Merry Christmas.
Merry
We'll see you next
Christmas.
week.